I love limits. Okay, because when you have limits, then you can get creative.
For you as an actress, like they give you a script and you're like, this is terrible, but you still do it.
The worst directed movie ever. Ooh. Hard question.
There's a lot of controversy in the Star Wars franchise right now. The audience was coming in to get that specific itch scratched in their brain, you know, and they didn't get that scratched. Certain clients, they want to do things their way. You need to know the rules to break them. The 180-degree rule, but then you have 28 days later, the zombie movie, where the guy wakes up and they're breaking the 180-degree rule.
I have a question.
Tell
Do
me.
you think there is a perfect movie with a perfect script exist?
Pirates of the Caribbean #1. This happens to me all the time. I write the dialogue in one way, but I write it with my intonation and my voice in my head. If I draft #3, it needs to be good enough that it gets in the quarterfinals of a festival. They don't know that there's some things that you just can't do because otherwise the audience will kill you.
Some of the greatest movies were literally shot in the same location in one room.
Middle management is the problem. Because
Let's get rid of that.
I'm okay with somebody giving notes and constructive feedback. I love that.
Nepotism?
Yeah.
And the whole Hollywood pretty much suffers from nepotism at this point.
You're listening to Just Fake It Coming to LA podcast. Now here are your hosts, Nora and Marina.
Hey everyone, welcome to Just Fake It Coming to LA podcast, powered by Invoice Media. Here I am, Nora Salim, with Marina and our guest today, David Barbeschi. Welcome.
Hi there. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Ciao.
How's
Yes.
it going? How's your day?
Day is going good. You know, woke up late, unlike, from what I understand, you, because of the jet lag.
Yeah, I was awake at
And you
5
too?
a.m.
Okay. That was me last week, actually.
Okay.
Just landed back in LA last week because, one thing is getting the O1 visa. The other thing is waiting for the passport to come in. And so I had to...
It's a process.
had
We've
to
all
postpone
been
the
there, I
flight
feel.
over and over, yeah.
Immigrants' problem.
Immigrants'
immigrants'
problems.
problem.
That is true. So, Marina just got back from Ukraine. Welcome back.
did.
I hope
Thank
your trip
you.
was good.
It was great.
You look great. I'm so very happy for you. We all actually went for a little bit of vacation/work trips.
But
And
you guys didn't notice it.
And by the way, it's a funny story because David and I met in Cannes Film Festival. But apparently we went to the same school. We actually found it out on the French Riviera in France. We were just like sitting eating these croissants. And I'm like, so David, where did you go to school?
I was like, NIFA. Oh, wait, NIFA. No.
Oh, what year? He's like, this year. I'm like, what?
So figure out that we all the same year of NIFA, different faculties.
2 semesters apart.
Yes.
That's
So
pretty
it's
much it.
crazy.
You're a screenwriter. Marina is director and I'm an actor. So that's a perfect...
We're making a movie.
We're making a movie, yes. We are about to make a movie.
We just need a producer. Donna Smith.
Donna Smith.
There you go.
We have everything
show.
set.
I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
David, please tell us your story about screenwriting. Why screenwriting, first of all? You know that not everybody actually chooses this path because it takes... I personally, in my opinion, screenwriters are one of the most intelligent people because they have to know everything to write about it. And after our conversations, I realized you're so knowledgeable. And I just want to know, why did you even come to this field of film, the hardest thing in the world?
Yeah. Mainly because... So I wanted to be a director.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it's like my dream, filmmaking-wise, it was, I'm going to make Star Wars Episode 7. That Star Wars Episode 7 comes out and I lock myself in my room for 2 weeks.
Oh, no. It actually happened. Oh my God.
And I was like, oh, you know what? Nah, let's I'm this far in. Let's do filmmaking anyway. So I go to this university in the UK, very generalized and very hands-on. Okay, they teach you how to do lighting, how to do camera, how to do directing, writing, everything. I suck at everything except for yelling at people and coordinating like a producer and writing scripts like a screenwriter.
Well, were you just dropping the mics from your hands, or what's going on?
No, it's because it's not just holding the mic. You know, you need to like press the buttons and connect everything and put the lav and put the with the camera, for example, you need to know that the Blackmagic Ursa doesn't work at night and stuff like that. You know, you need to like the second they introduce. I was okay. Okay, I was okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they started introducing lenses. I was like, "What the fuck?
It's too much information.
What the hell is this?" What? And that's one case of lens, and then there's like 17 other types. Oh no, this one is a long lens. What's the difference between these two pictures? I don't know. But I was good at writing scripts, and basically, like I wrote a short. sent it to a screenwriting competition just to see how it fares. How does it do? And it actually did pretty good. And so that's what made me come here to New York Film Academy in 2017 and try to do the Master of Fine Arts screenwriting degree. And, graduated a year and a half after that and been working ever since.
Interesting.
Which I want to know that David does truly work, comparing to any other students or graduates from film schools. Not everybody can actually stay in the field and
Absolutely
make a living on that. And I remember I told you that making a living on your craft is already a success.
Yeah.
And David is one of those people who is making a living on his craft. And also, besides that, in Cannes, I remember you were going through this competition, screenwriting competition.
Yes.
And you surpassed over 1,000 scripts.
Oh, so that's Coverfly. I got a script in the top 1%, and there's 18,000 scripts on Coverfly.
I see.
And then in the fantasy section, there's like 4,000 or something, and so I'm in the top 13.
Was it a feature or a short?
Yeah, it's a feature. It's called Yatra. We made a short film version of it too that premiered last year, and basically it's like Narnia or Hook or any other movie where like the main character goes into a fantasy land essentially. In this case, it's an old widow who needs to go into the world of the Hindu epics, the Ramayana, to save her the two boys that she babysits. Mm-hmm. And it's essentially a story about overcoming grief and stuff like that. And so that one is very fantasy driven. It's very adventure driven. And so in the top fantasy scripts, it made the top 20.
That's
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's great.
Yeah, now we're trying to sell it.
Nice.
Exactly.
So you did kind of proof of concept short film to support the script, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you direct it or?
I did not direct it. Actually, what was quite fun is that the director looked at the script and she saw, well, this is a bit too expensive to make. However, what if instead of them going to the epic world, shall we say, we bring the Hindu creatures into the real world, And so essentially what happens, it's a monster in the house film, the short film. So as a proof of concept, it works because you can put some screenshots into the pitch Bible, et cetera. And as a standalone short film, it also works, So that's quite fun.
Oh, that's cool. But as I understand, you're a big fan of fantasy, right? This is your...
Big fan of fantasy, big fan of sci-fi. Then I write anything they commission me to write, obviously. Except for romance. I suck at romance.
You don't write romance?
It's too cliche for me.
Oh, what do you like to write?
I like to write anything adventure driven, anything. If the guy is holding a sword, I like it.
May I ask you,
Yeah.
have you ever had this, order from people who, there are so many people who want to do film and some of them don't really understand what the film is and how it should be done.
Yeah.
And then they give you like kind of a log line or their idea and you're just like, it sucks, man. It just sucks. And you can't really tell them that it sucks because it's your job to kind of like write what you're giving with. And then you have to put all your brains and ideas into it and then kind of create a less sucking script.
But I feel like it's like
All the
for
time.
all of us, right? For you as an actress, like they give you a script and you're like, this is terrible. But you still do it. For me as a director, right, as well. They give me a script and I'm like, this is bad, but I do it anyway.
Exactly. I got a business manager, but not the like literary manager, So right now I'm having to, shall we say, find my own clients and stuff like that. It's from word to mouth. It's from, basically sending my own CV resume and stuff like that. But as a result, like you said, you don't, you're not in charge. Unlike in TV where the writer is king, here I'm work for hire. So as a result, sometimes I get some ideas where I'm like, this is terrible. This is just awful.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you think about the last season and ending of Game of Thrones?
I
haven't seen it. Are you guys going to spoil it?
Oh, no.
No. We're just going to say it's...
Spoilers. Yeah.
Spoilers alert.
Exactly. But yeah, it's, what is it called? I thought it was okay on paper. I think they needed like a couple more episodes to make it happen. And there's a few things where it's like you set up so much and you're paying off none of it. And sure, you can say, well, this is, it's more realistic that some characters don't get what they want. It's like, yeah, but also screw you, because I've sat.
We've invested 7 seasons of our lives.
Exactly. So they might not get it, and it sucks because their reality sucks. But my reality doesn't necessarily need to suck. You're making it suck.
Well, Game of Thrones is not exactly about reality. That's why they could have done it differently.
Like, my point is, what is it called? Like, Jon Snow versus the Night King. I wanted to see that. Everybody wanted to see that. You've been building that up.
Exactly.
You don't put that in. Like, it's fine. It's been out since 2019.
I haven't seen it. It's for me.
It's 2019. Like, we're gonna talk about House of Dragons now again. I'm gonna spoil everything.
House of Dragons. I mean, this is the book's been out. Actually,
I know, absolutely.
But actually, that's the interesting thing. The book hasn't been out, so
they just keep filming it.
That's because they were like, "Can you write the finish?" Then he was like, just like kind of taking forever, and then they were just like, "We're gonna do it."
So it's like, apparently. Now that I know that you want to watch it, but you don't want spoilers. So the person who ends up as king in the end, apparently he ends up as king in the book too, Oh,
really?
Yeah. The thing is, it's about how you get there, And in season 8, he does nothing, Like
that's true.
He does nothing.
He just goes like...
Exactly. Yeah. And that's already saying too much when you say...
Yes, it's
okay.
But the point is, it's like, you got to have that setup and that payoff.
That is true.
It can be, it needs to be emotionally satisfying. That's the thing. So subversion is fine, but as long as you make it emotionally satisfying. So that's why in certain, for example, there's a lot of, there's a lot of controversy in the Star Wars franchise right now. And part of it is just racism, misogyny, stuff like that. But the other part of it is, okay, you, the artist, have tried something new, but the audience was coming in to get that specific itch scratched in their brain, and they didn't get that scratched. So when you're not showing that to the audience, that's gonna ruin everything else, because they came in to have one very specific thing, one very specific experience, and you're not satisfying them emotionally, and so as a result, that makes for a very angry crowd, So that's why, for example, so you were talking about bad ideas in a script.
Yeah.
Right? So I always have to essentially talk to certain clients, not all the clients, but certain clients, they want to do things their way, and they want to break the mold. And my point is that you need to have a mold in the first place. You need to know the rules to break the rules, there's even when you're filming, you're a director, the what is it, the 180 degree rule?
Yes, 180. Yeah? You have to know it in case you still can break it, right? But you have to motivate it, and you need to understand how it works. Absolutely.
The 180 degree rule, it's like basically you're not allowed to, like if you're shooting
the dialogue between two people, you're not allowed to cross on the other side.
So let's say right now we have the cameras all like this. Right?
Yeah, so if one camera was behind us,
that would be wrong. If we cut to behind us, that's weird. Right?
Yes.
But then you have 28 days later, the zombie movie, where the guy wakes up and they're breaking the 180 degree rule because he just woke up and it's been a zombie apocalypse and everything is weird. And so now you're cutting from a close up to a long shot from the top of a building, and then and by breaking those rules, now you're getting the audience invested.
Absolutely. You manipulate people to feel things they don't even know they feel.
But he had to learn that to then break that,
I have a question. Do you think there is a perfect movie with a perfect script exists?
Pirate of the Caribbean #1.
Oh, right. You told me about it. Pirate of the Caribbean. You told me that's the #1.
It's excellent. Script. It's perfect. There's setup and payoff everywhere. It's beautiful. It's magnificent. But the way it is, so first of all, the script for it is awesome because the way they describe certain characters is great. They describe what's it called? Will Turner, Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
They describe him as handsome but with a watchful demeanor that makes him that gives him a certain older air about him or something like that. They describe Mr. Gibbs, the guy with the beard here. He's always talking like this. He's a bit grouchy. Jack Sparrow's colleague. They describe him as born old with leather face.
Oh.
It's like, oh shit, I know exactly. The Commodore, they call him Royal Navy to the core. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's perfect.
But also, they made Jack Sparrow as a very sympathetic character, even though he is a pirate.
Yeah.
In fact, he's a pirate.
And that's the point of the story, because the entire movie, you're seeing. So everybody thinks that Jack Sparrow is the main character. It's like he's not the main character. He's not the protagonist. The protagonists are Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley's characters.
The love story.
Yeah. But it's not just a love story. It's she has this fetish for pirates, and she thinks pirates are so fucking so effing cool. She thinks pirates are so effing cool, and the thing is, they're not. They're raiding.
They're robbers. They're criminals.
They kill people. You know, they pillage.
For gold.
Exactly. They're awful people. But at the same time, it's not far-fetched to think that there can be such a thing as a pirate and a good man. And so throughout the entire movie, they're using the word pirate as an insult. And when Jack Sparrow calls Orlando Bloom's dad, oh yeah, he was a great pirate, Orlando Bloom takes offense. He's drawing his sword. I'm going to kill you. No. And the character arc there is understanding that, yeah, you can be both a good person and a pirate. It's not black and white. There can be some sort of a gray area, and Jack Sparrow is the proof of that.
So what is the thing? The main message of this film is that the person can be good and bad at the same time?
You like, just because you're not perfect doesn't mean you're not evil. Oh. You know? Or wait, just because you're not perfect doesn't mean you're evil. There you go.
I see.
It's very interesting because at the end, they're trying to execute Jack Sparrow. Orlando Bloom saves him, and he's a pirate and a good man, you know. And there it is. That's the nuance. And at the end, Keira Knightley is kissing Orlando Bloom. Her dad is like, "Well, he's a blacksmith, you know. At least it's a humbling profession." And she's like, "No, he's a pirate." And then she kisses him. It's perfect, but it's entrenched thematically, you know, like it's all linked like this. There is everything. There is no over talking. There is no moments that goes on for too long. And this is like old school screenwriting from the 90s, where it was only like, I want to say 20 people who they kept hiring over and over. The guy who wrote the writing team that wrote Pirates of the Caribbean also wrote Zorro. They also wrote all the Three Musketeers. Like they are the go-to guys for these kind of movies.
For the characters with the swords.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you think the script is kind of like a guideline for every crew member? Because I know like the screenwriter writes a script, right? He puts the idea, but director can change things. The casting director can change things, right? By doing casting, but the script stays kind of like guidelines.
Yeah.
Like a book.
They keep reminding you that a script, like even at school, you have to bear in mind that it's a living document, okay? Because you wrote it, but there's like so many types of scripts that you write. So there's the script that you pitch, and usually I can go crazy with that one, you know, like then somebody crashes through a wall and they punch him into the moon. Then you have the production script, and that's the one that, for example, Donna Smith.
Like, we can't afford it. Nobody's flying to the moon.
Do you realize how much money I need to spend for somebody to get punched through a wall? No. When I'm like giving Donna some page and she looks at it, she's like, no, you got to rewrite this. This is unacceptable. And Donna's notes are always so fun. And then, you have the script that, for example, once the rest of the crew, they've come in, the DP says, I cannot make a shot like this. The costume designer, like you said, they say, well, I don't have the fabric for a character like this.
Or it's too expensive.
It's too expensive.
Something.
So, like, I can make this, but it's going to cost you
And
an
at the end
million.
of the day, actor is going to be like, I'm not going to do it.
Exactly, that too. And finally, there's the script during the shoots, because maybe I wrote the dialogue and said, this happens to me all the time. I write the dialogue in one way, but I write it with my intonation and my voice in my head. Mm-hmm. I can't help it. I try to have a more varied voice, and sometimes I manage, but most of the time, it's just me talking, but as various characters.
You just need to develop some sort of schizophrenia with multiple personalities, so you can just...
Personality disorder?
Yeah, George R. R. Martin, we're talking about Game of Thrones, he's able to do that. You know? Like, he's like, I just picture myself, what would I do if I was in that situation? It's like, yeah, but at the same time, these characters all sound different. You're a genius. I'm not that genius. So it's so funny because like my sisters watch the film and then they go, that every character here sounds like you. Like they're using the word basically like a comma, just like you. They're
I see.
Exactly. But so then I have to rewrite it. I have to rewrite it in a way that matches the actor's intonation too. Because sometimes if they're just not able to feel like this line sounds natural to them, then I need to work with them to fix it. Then finally post-production there too, it's not flowing. Why? Because whatever I wrote originally didn't come out the same way after it was shot.
So audience and people who love movies, please remember that you see when the movie is different from the book, just remember there is a lots of steps in the
There's
production,
a lot of people in
pre-production,
between.
production and post-production where the film can be changed. We're not talking about the book, because book is something like you put on the paper, just like the script, you have it in your mind and it's possible in your mind and imagination. But when it comes to technicality, it's just not always possible. That's why lots of people complain about how different, for example, Game of Thrones, right? From the book. But imagine to shoot something like this, it takes millions and millions of dollars in manpower. And it's sometimes just not possible to just send a man to a moon, let's say.
True. But in the case of Game of Thrones, I think it's fair because it's Game of Thrones. Like they had all,
they
had
all the funds.
They had all the money. Like they could have gone more if they wanted to. Like.
I, as an actor, I just want to be like Cersei Lannister, who stands on the balcony and drinks the wine the whole time and gets millions.
Gets shaved.
Well, whatever. That's for $1 million. Whatever.
It'll grow.
It'll grow.
Exactly. It'll grow back.
It's fine.
Exactly.
I personally have a question when it comes to the process. When I talk to the artists or to creators, let's say, everybody have their own process. Personally, I have process, Marina has process, you of preparation of how you're going to just actually sit down. Because imagine, there are people who can't even write a page or read a page. Nowadays, especially, the attention span of the people is so short, right? So how do you even make yourself just sit down? You have this task, you have the log line, you have the idea, you got to sit down, brainstorm and write. And then that's the moment, 90 pages at least. And you have the deadline for this and you cannot suck because you're doing it for money, right?
Yeah.
So how do you even, I know one of the stories when you sit at night and you feed the squirrels or you fight with them for the almonds they steal from you while you're writing or something like that.
They're raccoons.
Raccoons.
I want to hear the story.
Yeah, okay. So this was July 2022. So basically, that's my process is I write at night. Okay, I drink a lot of black tea or coffee, depending on what's available, and then I spend an all-nighter and I go to sleep at 10.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but obviously I rest beforehand, all that. But there's something about there being pure darkness around the screen that makes it so that you're not distracted. It's just you and the screen.
Interesting. I feel like also people, they don't distract you. Nobody's texting you. Okay.
Exactly. So that's
but the raccoons.
So the raccoons. I'm in the middle of writing something outside in the garden, and suddenly the raccoon stops by. I give it an almond. It sits down, eats it. It's not doing anything. I'm like, oh, there's another one. Okay, so now this is sitting down. Soon we're all sitting down in a circle, and just. I'm like, I'm eating too, hey.
So you're like, it's like this circle with
like
you.
It's like
and how many raccoons? Like 10 raccoons
exactly,
around you?
It's 7. It was
for real? 7 raccoons?
It was 7 raccoons. And they're just like, we're just standing like this, just looking at each other.
This is how the Guardians of the Galaxy were written.
Exactly, yeah. And it's so stupid. This is me not being American coming into play, because I thought, it bites you, and then, you have the time to go to the hospital, and there you go. You get cured. And then my friend tells me later, no, if it bites you, you immediately get the rage. You immediately get rabies, And see, it has the rage instead of you immediately get rabies and you start frothing, and then you're screwed.
Really? With raccoons?
Yeah.
What's the difference between other animals and raccoons? Because you still have 24 hours.
No, like with any animal, it's instantaneous. Like it happens within minutes.
If it has rabies.
If it has rabies.
Okay. So with the raccoons, it's instant.
But you don't want to risk it.
Yeah, you don't want to find out.
Like with any animal, but especially raccoons, like.
What is this with raccoons?
I don't know, but
why Guardians of the Galaxy chose raccoons? Because they knew it.
Yeah, cute. I don't know. Maybe it's the alliteration, Rocket Raccoon, because Marvel has a lot of alliteration. Peter Parker, J. Jonah Jameson,
I have a
Reed
question.
Richards.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did the raccoons at the end just grab the bag of the almonds, and they'd be like, I'm going to go.
At some point, I just look, oh shit, it's already 3 a.m. And I had to go.
Guys, we have to finish the party. I have to work.
I was
Yeah,
like,
no
okay, so
almonds anymore, bro. Come tomorrow, bros.
I went back to the chair. They were like, yeah, if there's no food,
They leave.
Not
if there's no
interested.
food, they just.
So that's a very unique process, almonds, raccoon, and knives.
No, yeah, exactly. The almonds and the raccoons were so crucial to the process. No, it's writing at night, and then structure, and then because you gotta structure is something that Knife taught us, and Knife is great at teaching structure to screenwriters because structure and genre. Because once you master those things, you can be flexible and write friggin' anything.
When it comes to
on it.
genre,
Yeah.
like, what do you personally like? Besides, I know you don't like to write romance, but what is your? If let's say I have $10 million, and I'll be like, David, I'll give you one.
Yeah.
I need money for production. Hello.
True.
I'll give you one. I need a feature film, but you are free to write whatever you want, whatever genre you want.
I'll make you a self-contained horror sci-fi movie.
So you like horror and sci-fi?
I don't like horror, but I'm good at horror.
I love horror.
Like I it scares the crap out of me. Like.
But when you write at night among the 7 raccoons who potentially might have rabies and might be even, I don't know, aliens.
Good inspiration source.
Exactly.
Right?
It gets scary.
It's like you look at night in their dark eyes and they stare at you with the question, where is the almonds?
when you watch, like, have you ever watched a video of like an insect, like, oh, look at this killer wasp or something, or this killer tarantula, and then something touches you, like maybe it's the bed sheets touching your toes, and you go, ah! That's me when I'm writing horror in the middle of the night. So I'm writing, this is so scary, this is good.
So scary.
It's a raccoon's like, David, I don't want one more almonds.
Yeah. No, but there's that there, and finally, it's just right. Like this is called just fake it or something.
Just write it.
Just fake it.
Just
Just write it. Just write. It doesn't need to be good. It's the vomit draft. It's better to, what is it called? Corrects. Like, if it's there, you can correct it. If it's not there, you can't do anything with it.
Yeah, because we talked about it earlier. Is for me, for example, it's very hard to write something because I'm like, it's bad. I'm not gonna write it. Like, I have idea. I'm like, oh, it's a great idea, and then I give up because I don't like it anymore.
How many drafts usually you go through?
I try to get it done by 3 drafts.
Oh, by 3 only? Wow.
Yeah, like
quick.
it needs to be in a good spot by 3. Obviously, afterwards, there's usually got to be draft number 4 and number 5, but those are like small changes here and there. Those are like by 3. The idea is that by draft number 3, it needs to be good enough that it gets in the quarterfinals of a festival or semifinals of a festival. That's pretty much it. And the only thing that they tell you to change is, I don't like this line. Change it.
So when you write for a client, right, do you feel comfortable with their notes, like giving you notes and notes and notes? Because I know how it is to work with clients. And
so it depends. If the client is in the film industry, then they will already kind of know what I can and can't do and what an audience will or will not like.
Okay.
And so usually their notes will be fair. It's going to be, that's fair enough. When the client is not in the film industry, that's where the challenges come because they want to do so. I was okay. So when the client is not in the film industry, this is where the challenges come in because they don't know that there's some things that you just can't do because otherwise the audience will kill you. Last year I was writing a feature script, think Rocky Balboa in Thailand. For a client who's based in Australia. He knows Muay Thai. He wanted to go to Thailand, so he was like, make me a movie that I can shoot there. Cool.
He just wanted to go to the excuse to go to Thailand.
Exactly. So
Love it.
I made it.
Let's do it.
And it's great. He likes it. He likes it. And then he's like, can we add a scene 5 minutes before the end where we find out, actually 2 minutes before the end, where we find out that this was actually just a dream?
Oh no.
He wakes up in his therapist's office.
Oh no. This is the most Knife movie.
And the flashbacks.
Yeah.
The flashbacks.
Oh God,
the
those
voiceover.
flashbacks, the voiceovers.
And he's saying that unironically. So I was like, my first thing was, is this a joke? And then, no, I want to do it. That people will hate this. Yeah, but I'm making this movie for me. Okay, but you also told me that you're trying to make it in the film industry, and with that mentality, I'm making it for me. So it's good to make a film for yourself. It's good to make it in a place where you're happy with it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, you can't make a movie that's a fuck you to the audience. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like people should go through this so they understand after, like, when you make it and then you rewatch it and then you get the people's notes and you're like, oh, maybe he was right. Because if you don't make it, you don't understand what's wrong. Like, why is it not?
There's making a movie for you and there's making a movie against them, you know? And if you basically tell everybody that, oh, yeah, it was all a dream, then you're basically telling them that you wasted 2 hours of their lives.
That's pretty much,
Exactly.
Especially when there were no hints or it doesn't even serve the story.
Exactly. So we go back to Game of Thrones season 8.
About the serving the story. I have a question. You know, screenwriter is like a god in the beginning in the film, right? You write the whole thing. You are the power.
Yeah.
The nuclear power, which kind of starts this boiling process, right? Have you ever, I don't want to say misused. No, I would say more, you know, you can just write any scene. You can write nudity because you approximately know what kind of actress is going to be there. Or you can write a fight scene or kick somebody's ass. Or you can write some craziest thing, right? Because you're a screenwriter, because you can. So have you ever, just for fun, I'm not saying about the nudity particularly, but just for fun, because you knew who's going to be on the movie or on set, like you'd be like, I would love to see him doing that. And you just write it.
So nudity and sex scenes, I was lucky enough to start in 2017, the screenwriting path, right when Me Too was starting. And they basically said, no, we're not okay with this shit.
Okay.
I also landed in this, like, one of these Facebook groups where assistants to managers and agents and producers like share like the most cringy sex scenes in scripts. And I was like, okay, so if you make it, like they'll share something like, it's a whole death scene and this guy's grabbing this woman's boob and he's going, and then she's like, Mr. Robertson, Dad. And it's just like, it's weird. And everybody in the comments is like, why are you writing this? Somebody else describes, her pants are so tight that you can see what kind of phone she has. It's like, when you see the reactions and you're like, okay, so this script isn't getting recommended. Okay. So seeing as in my head, I'm like, okay, firstly, I need to get over, need to get past these assistants in the first place. Then I try to like not make it as explicit, to make it as unexplicit as possible, because I'm trying to sell the script. I'm trying to make money, you know? The second thing, fight scenes, I have like, there's an actor who, on a movie who wasn't really good, and, you know, it's fine. Yeah, but as a result, like he was butchering my lines so much that I was just like, you know what, let's have him get
You're
beat.
Mad at him?
I was like, let's have him get beat up. So I suggested a rewrite. I argued to the director, look, we need this. It
serves the story.
It raises the stakes.
Yes.
And it did, you know, but also like,
it was not exactly necessarily.
There was a bit of selfishness.
Like,
yes. Hit him harder. You know, one of those.
Or at the same time, if you see something good about the actor, right, you're like, oh, you didn't even think about it before, right? But then you're like, it's going to be great, right?
I'll write a whole tirade just for them, just so they can then put it forward. You know, like,
I have a question. Are you writing something for me now?
Well, that depends on what Donna thinks. Exactly. Right now, I'm writing 2 scripts for her, one short script for a client in the UK, and a horror script, which that one is interesting. That one is shooting in, I think, Serbia.
Ooh.
You know? So that one actually might be interesting for you now that I think about it. Because
we just got narcusted.
I just got you see how you do it?
Yeah, that one might be
like
interesting
De Niro.
because it's all in one location. I love stuff that's all in one location because it gives you so much to play. I love limits, okay? Because when you have limits, then you can get creative.
We talked about it because some people like feel uncomfortable with limits, but we talked about it before that limits actually give you guidance and you can be creative inside of this little box,
exactly.
right?
But the beauty of there being a box is that you can then think outside the box, you can think inside the box, you can think under the box, you can
exactly,
you know. But there needs to be a box.
Around the box,
Yeah.
on the corners.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you don't have
Away from the
anything,
box.
and you're just
Around the
like,
box. Come back to the box.
In the box, on the box, under the
just like write about anything you want. You can have any actor you want, and then
But there
you
needs
sit,
to be a box.
Yeah, and you sit there and you're just like, I don't know. But then if you have limits, like, okay, we need this location, we need 3 actors, one of them needs to be blonde.
Yeah.
Right? and then you're like, okay, I can work with that.
Yeah.
And you have something like, again, you said mold, right?
Yeah.
It's like you have to have something to work with.
Breaking the mold, but there needs to be a mold to break in the first.
Some of the greatest movies were literally shot in the same location in one room.
Yeah.
Like the movie Room.
Saw.
In one room.
Saw.
The first Saw movie.
Yeah.
So this one is in a ranch. This one's gonna be interesting. So there is space, but it all needs to take place at that ranch. I saw the movie Pearl recently. Have you seen Pearl? It's like the prequel to X and Maxine.
Oh, I want to see. Maxine is coming out now.
Maxine.
Yes.
So it's the one between X and Maxine.
Yeah, I saw X. Yeah.
So it's the one about the old lady in X when she was young.
Oh, so it's her pre-story.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's really, really interesting because so here's structure and genre, for example. Structure and genre. This is a horror movie. So the second act, usually in a horror movie, in a monster in the house movie, something like that, is going to be finding out what's going on.
Yeah.
What's happening here. And then the third act is surviving. These are similar beats to what you'd see in a thriller, but the stakes are higher because, it's life and death and it's horror and it's scary. You're trying to figure out what is this monster, and then your third act, you're trying to survive. But in terms of what is it called? Pearl, you're not trying to survive in the third act because the main character is the monster. So you're just rooting for her. Like, it's written in a way where you're rooting for her to kill everybody. Oh. Even though it's awful, right?
Okay. But you feel compassionate?
Well, you feel compassionate, and that takes us back to character, wants and needs and all that stuff. Pearl wants to leave the farm. She wants to be a star, etc., etc. Because she wants to be loved internally. She wants to be loved. She wants to feel appreciated. What she needs to do is stop being a goddamn psycho, and But
you want too much,
but she doesn't. But she never gets that, and so as a result, she ends up killing everybody, And but it's written in a way where you feel for her. You feel sorry for her.
Oh yeah, her performances of one of the monologues. I think it's considered one of the strongest acting.
Yeah,
so
it's
far.
like 3 pages on Word or something, and it's just.
And she was so raw in there.
Pure theater, and that's why the camera stays on her. It's awesome, and it's a moment of honesty where, again, she by that point she's killed a bunch of people, okay, and yet despite that, she's basically, what is it called? She's being honest to herself. She's saying, I just want to be loved, and I know I'm weird. I know and it's a moment of pure honesty where that's something that I read. Well, I see, and I'm like, they wrote that specifically so that Mia Goth can showcase her abilities as an actress, and it's awesome.
That's amazing.
So it's really, really cool.
Do you have any favorite dialogue you wrote so far? Anything that you're really proud of?
I have so still in Yatra. Yeah, I have this. Actually, no. Okay. I did this short film called Pawns. Okay. It's a World War I short film. It's out on YouTube. You can see it. It's on Omeletto, a YouTube channel that shows short films. And the thing about that is, I loved the script version of that conversation. The script version of that conversation is a British and a German soldier trapped in a bunker realize that there's humanity in each of them. We're just men at the end of the day. We're just guys. But because of the pacing of the film, some of the lines had to be cut. And so at some point, some of the lines that are in that scene become very random. But the way it was originally written, it's perfectly, what is it called? Linked.
Okay,
it all
so it
leads
works.
into another thing, and you see the character growth going. That's the curse of any screenwriter, for the record. It's you write something and it's never gonna end up the same way once it's shot, and when it does, you get so emotional because finally, oh my god, yeah.
But it's also the beauty of it, right? Because everybody on the crew becomes your partner as well in writing and thing. I know it can be bad, but also sometimes you just can, find something that you didn't think
That's true.
of, right?
The collaborative process is very interesting. But the other hand is, you wrote this because you were trying to say something very specific, something you care about, and maybe the director gets it, but they get it 95%, because they're their own person.
Absolutely.
and the producer gets it 85% because they also get it, but they're
And the actor is about 10. Just kidding.
Because they read only dialogue. They don't read anything in between.
Come on. Like everybody's actors are the last piece of a food chain, whatsoever. But those are the ones who carry the film
true.
on screen.
They're the image.
You don't see anybody else except them.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
That is true.
Yeah.
So you have this message in every script you write, right? Because that's the art. We have a message. We don't do anything just except the movie Blob, probably, which was a big hit. What do you think about the script of the Blob, by the way?
Never read it, but it's simple. I like simple stuff.
It is pretty simple. It was a big hit. But there is a message, and you always have this message before you sit down to write the script, right? You'll be like, okay, I have this mission, I have this message I have to deliver. And that goes throughout the whole script while you write.
Yeah. That's theme. That's, it takes us back to Pirates of the Caribbean. You need to know what's the message there. You can be a good man and a pirate, and that's why when I say just write it, you don't need to have the message at the beginning.
That's true.
You can just write whatever you want.
You just start writing and then you kind of start realizing, right?
There's this script I wrote called White Crow, which also did pretty good on Coverfly. And it's a sci-fi script. It's like Mad Max meets, Ghost in the Shell. So Mad Max with katanas. Okay?
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah, it's nice. And I like it. I'm so happy with that script. But the point is, at its core, it's a story about brothers and sisters, But I only realized after two drafts in, and I was like, "This is cool, but it's just cool. It's like it's not saying anything. There's no moral to the story." And then I was like, "Okay, so what can this be?" And once you figure that out, okay, so now you're injecting a bit of that in here. You're injecting a bit of that in there. You're removing this sentence because you don't need it. Because now that this character isn't saying "I love you," that tells a whole story. Like if he's not saying it, it means that he's not in a mind space that he can say it. Et cetera, et cetera. So it's about that's something that can come later, but it's better. Okay. It's better if it's there first.
So for your process, let's say, does it help you to create characters in advance? So like, do you develop the character first that helps to develop the story, or do you develop the story first that helps the character to develop?
Story first, then character.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
create the world.
Yeah.
Create the world. Then the character. Bring the character.
That's pretty much it. Story, then I'd go story, then character, then world. It depends. Actually, So if it's a feature film, then story, character, world. If it's a TV, world, character, story.
Interesting.
Because for example, the character and the world are the in a series. The series engine is driven by the world and the character. We're landing back on Game of Thrones, but
the film.
Well, in TV you have the White Walkers are coming in soon, So whatever the hell they do, they gotta what is it called? Be ready for this incoming death, And from a character perspective, everybody wants the Iron Throne, And so they're going to backstab each other until one of them sits on the throne, And so that's the moving engine. That's what creates drama in all of these shows.
I see.
Whereas in a feature film, well, the drama comes from the story. What's the premise? You tell me. And afterwards, the character needs to be deep and the world needs to be crafted. But it all needs to be done in service of that story because I need to keep your attention for only 2 hours.
Only 2 hours. I like
exactly.
it.
Whereas for a TV show, I need to keep your attention for years.
That is true. That is true. Like Walking Dead, right? We want to know who, especially survival TV series.
Yeah.
Like it's like who's gonna survive at the end? Is the zombies are gonna be out, or like what's gonna happen? Are they gonna build a new world?
Exactly.
I want to kind of play a game right now.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
On our podcast, we don't really practice that before, not much, but we kind of decided to try it out on you, David.
It's going to be improvisation.
Improvisation, yes.
Improv, yeah.
So it's called, everybody knows, it's called Truth or Dare, but in our podcast, it's Truth and Dare because we're bold.
Yes, exactly.
We can go for it, right?
Exactly.
We're immigrants. Exactly. We're surviving.
Yeah. Why
choose, right?
Exactly.
Right.
What is choosing?
What is choosing?
Let's do both.
That is true.
Yeah.
So we'll start with like truth, I think, and everybody's gonna kind of cross each other with questions and answers. Okay.
Do we have a topic? Do we have a
no? Let's just a freestyle on the topic. Maybe about movies. Maybe about personality. I don't know.
Okay.
Freestyle. Okay. Who's gonna start?
I'm terrible at improv, so you
should
start.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh,
There you go.
I gotta ask two of you, right?
Okay.
We'll choose one and then next one. I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how they're.
Yeah. Marina, what do you think? What do you think was the most? No. The worst directed movie ever.
The worst directed movie ever. Oof. Hard question. I would definitely say, I don't want to offend anybody, but like the movies made in Ukraine are not very good. I don't know why, but I feel like...
Why aren't they good?
I don't know. I just watched them and I'm like, this is terrible. Like the acting...
Like everything... acting is like...
Not
Not
I don't
realistic.
think it's actors. I think it's actually directing because directors do not pay attention to details. I'm trying to come up with a movie like name... There was something.
No,
I
it's
watched
okay.
recently.
We don't want to offend anybody.
It's hard to like come
But you
up
already
with,
offended the whole
but
country's
it's just-
cinema.
I'm sorry. The thing is, it
Traitor.
used not to be like this. And right now, there is something like I love Ukraine. I'm Ukrainian, and I want to make movies and make my
Yeah.
country proud. But there is something that I watch every movie that's made, and I'm just like, I don't believe you. I don't see
That's
it.
the mission of your life now, to make sure that Ukraine produces better movies.
No, I'm sure they're becoming better now and stuff. But honestly, there's
By
something.
the time everybody's gonna become better making movies, AI will make movies. So we gotta hurry up. We gotta hurry up.
That's true. No, I know there's also American movies that are not that good, but usually Americans are better in this stuff. So, but I'll try to let me think, and I'll maybe come up with a name for you.
Okay,
of a movie.
I'm
Okay.
thinking for the question for you, David. What should we answer? I'm thinking. Well, again, okay, let's go back to the movies since we're all talking about the movies, right? Who'd you come up to and say you suck? You're at the Oscars. Okay, you're at the Oscars, right? You made it. Your film is nominated as a screenwriter. You're getting the thing, or a Cannes Film Festival, like something big, right?
Yeah.
And you know the person, and his movies suck because the screenwriting sucks, and you'd be like, you could just come up to them and say, "You suck."
So there is an unspoken rule in screenwriting where you don't talk crap, you don't talk smack about somebody else's script.
Is there
Yeah. So you don't do that.
respectable people?
Yeah,
Nice people.
Nice people.
It's also because like you don't want to be that guy who's like, well, I could have done it better. You know.
Is there a movie
But-
you think it
but-
sucked?
But like, I would walk up to Meryl Streep and say, "We get it. You're good. You don't need to be in movies anymore." Like we get the same thing with Tom Hanks. I tell them both. I tell them both.
No, they're that good.
I get it. Leave some Oscars for the rest of us.
That is true. They have so
it's
many nominations.
You don't need to be in this movie. You don't need to be like. At least do it for free. You know, like it's.
I think at this point, these people can do it.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of art, because they're.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very hard to get to their level as an actor.
Yeah.
Like it's almost impossible. How many nominations Meryl Streep has? She's so genius.
Yeah.
She has.
It's great. She should keep doing what she's doing.
You know who
Nobody's gonna beat her record.
So here's the thing:
fine.
people blame the directors, they blame the actors, they blame the writers. Okay, it's not. It's never any of their faults. You know, it's always the creative, the executive's fault. It's always the guy in the suit who doesn't get what the hell this movie's about. And like, no, let's put a chick in this because it's gonna sell more instead of no, let's put a chick in this because it's gonna help the character. You know, it's
So they suck.
they suck.
Executive producers
exactly.
who try to make more money and it doesn't serve the story. You suck.
Because they're the guys who also want to use the ChatGPT. To be clear, like
They want to use the ChatGPT.
To save
And
money.
recently, there's AI services who are like, okay, so they made a whole strike just so that executive producers don't have to use us. So how about we make AIs that replace executive producers then? You know, so then you tighten the distance between you and the person who's got the money. You know.
Yeah, but at the same, I mean, I get it.
It's the
but
middleman.
executive producers need to be there because without them, it's very hard to make a project.
No, I'm not executive producers. The creative executives.
Creative executives.
The middle management is what I mean. You know, the middle management is the problem because
Let's get rid of them.
Yeah, because sometimes you're gonna get like you wrote a horror script and you send it to the guy, but the only guy you know is somebody who, the guy you've been assigned to is a guy who only likes comedies.
I see.
So they don't get horror.
So now we know what
Yeah.
David thinks about the whole
Yeah.
process.
There
of
should
the
be
movie,
somebody to limit you, because
So-
otherwise, if you don't have any limits, if you don't have anybody on your way, it's not interesting. It's
So
not.
I'm okay with somebody giving
Yeah.
notes and constructive feedback. I love that. The more feedback and the more notes I get, the better.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the point. The point is it needs to come from somebody who's qualified. You know, it needs to be
Yeah.
from somebody who knows the term, theme and genre and stuff like that. And it needs to be from somebody who, instead of somebody who's like, I don't know, I just want to.
I kind of had an impression that all these people who work in the big movie studios and productions know about film. They are supposed to be professionals. Otherwise, how are you supposed to work in this industry?
Well, it's not always the case though, because so there's the film industry, there's being on set, there's there's the creative, there's the production guy, and then there's the people in development. And the people in development, most of the time, like the entry level people, actually, I'm gonna be fair. Most of the people in development know what the hell they're doing.
yeah.
But eventually, there's somebody above them who doesn't,
Yeah.
who's just there
Or
because
an investor.
an investor.
Yeah.
You know, it's an investor, or it's somebody who is there because their dad knew somebody, or is somebody who's there because they made a lot of money as a manager in another industry, and now they're here because hey, you know,
I personally think every industry suffers from this kind of things. It's nepotism.
yeah,
And the whole Hollywood pretty much suffers from nepotism at this point. If you look at the main like modeling and acting
Yeah.
field, like their daughters and sons of like, name me some celebrities. They're definitely somebody's children.
yeah.
So that kind of does limit. I'm not saying it's bad. It's great that they have this opportunity, but just don't rub it into like especially simple people's eyes who are trying to make it from zero, from the ground, which is almost impossible
Exactly.
for them.
Yeah.
Like giving away the best projects or some projects because there's somebody's daughter or son. And sometimes, most of the times they're talented, but let's be fair. Let's be fair. Like it's not always the case. And the industry, none of the industries is fair.
Yeah.
The life is not fair. I'm not saying it is.
But it's motivated by money, right?
It
because,
is, yes.
Because if I put Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter Maya Hawke in the movie, who's really good by the way, I think. But if you put her in the last name and her in the movie
Yeah.
and her last name is Hawke, then you already have something. Now Maya Hawke is an actress in and of itself, so that's actually a terrible example I gave. But,
No. She's good.
But yeah, but
I mean, there
you
are
get my
some. We're
point,
not going to
though.
name
No, but
it.
also like considering that you're growing up in this artist family, you probably become an artist.
Yeah,
And their parents probably did all they could to become those people from the beginning. And again, it's in every industry, in every case, you need to know somebody. Sometimes it's bad, but sometimes like think about it. You want to hire somebody and you have like millions of resumes and you have no idea who those people are. And then somebody recommends you like, hey, this is this person. I know him personally. He's the daughter of that person. And you're like, okay, so it's probably somebody I can trust.
but
so
it's not
it has
really
both cases.
The more I think about it, like the more we're talking about it, and the more I zero in on it, it's not really the job position per se, it's the type of person. And there is a specific type of person who isn't creative. They just don't get it.
I understand.
And they like in the series The Offer about the making of The Godfather. I don't know if you guys saw it. There's a whole like 2 episodes dedicated to it's the guy in the suit who is trying to market The Godfather. And so he's making these posters that are like, "Hey, take the cannoli," put down the gun, take the cannoli. And it's a poster, and it's got all of them. It's got Marlon Brando. It's a V shape because the V sells well apparently, and it's like a certain color because the polls have said that it really.
I see.
Yeah, and it's just not. Oh yeah, it's too long. It's too long. We need to cut it down to 2 hours perfectly. Why? Because apparently people get bored. No, so it's
Yeah, I
that kind of
understand.
person.
Okay, that was the answer to the question. The people in
Sorry.
suits. Okay, no, that was great. That was great. And then
Dare.
There.
What's the dare?
question to me. Hello.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's okay. We don't have
Truth.
to.
What is the genre that just you don't like and you never want to do? Like
As an actress?
Like as both a moviegoer and an actress.
Gosh. Like
Something that ticks both those boxes because maybe you like romance, but you don't want to be in a romance.
No, romance is totally fine. Comedy is totally fine.
Yeah.
I personally love sci-fi. I personally love historical pieces. Oh my God, I wish, because I love the horses and all that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
Those are fun.
those
But
are fun.
I'm truly scared of watching horror movies.
Okay.
Okay.
And I mean, I have no problem like acting in them because it's not true. Even though the whole emotion, like it's a stress for your mental health because you portray so many emotions, right? But to watch, I'm just like, I'm just closing my eyes. I'm like, I cannot sleep without the light tonight and stuff like that. I'm very sensitive to that. So horror is no go for me. Yeah, that would be the only genre I wouldn't do.
That's fair. Also, I get that too because I got a friend who's an actress and she is really, really good at the emotional drama moments, but she used to do those in like the 2010s. She stopped doing those.
Yeah, because it's draining.
It's
like
draining.
Every time
like it takes you to a dark place eventually, It's,
all the time, and then you have to come out with that, and then if the movie doesn't worth it, like especially if it's like something really small, you're like, why am I wasting myself for?
So I saw that short film. You showed me that short film in Cannes.
Yeah.
Where you kill your brother.
Yeah, I do kill my brother in the film. That's true.
Like that is so emotional. Like that I was like, oh no, God, it's perfect. It's terrible, but it's perfect. But it's terrible.
But it's
It's perfect.
It's like
terrible.
pain. It's more of the script was written the way that I have to kill him for my own survival.
Yeah.
But then it's my brother.
And
then obviously
So
I kill
what
him
are
and
you
then I
gonna
cry
do?
over his dead
Oh,
body. I'm like, I
God.
killed him, but I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are those complicated kind of scripts I like, where it's controversial,
It's
where
complex.
you have to make a choice. It's
Yeah.
very complex, and then
But at
it's
least there was
variety
a message
from
there, Like you have to make that choice, And there's certain movies that, there's this movie I think it's called The Smell of the Cherries or something. The whole movie is about a guy in the car trying to get people to help him kill himself. Essentially, he's trying to. The pitch is this: I'm gonna go bury myself in this hole in the ground next to this tree. I need you to come by next morning and call my name 3 times, and if I don't reply after 3 times, you bury me. Okay, that's it. I will have taken some medicine or whatever, and if I wake up, great. That means I'm meant to wake up if I don't. And the movie ends before you see if this guy wakes up or not.
Oh no, it's a robbing the audience.
So that's just a big screw you to the audience.
Yeah.
That is, and the emotional impact of that is robbed because the movie takes no particular stance by the end of it. Whereas in your short film, at least like a choice was made.
Yeah.
She's gonna have to kill that guy if she wants to survive. Blood relations be damned.
That is true.
Yeah.
Now we're moving forward to the dare,
Yes.
Let's do
and
it.
the dare would be.
Let's do all
So since we're all in the film,
yeah.
right? We're gonna create a film.
We're gonna write a
Magnificent.
Yep,
Write a
we're gonna
plot.
write a film. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So it's gonna be a kind of a synopsis or a small plot. in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody, come on, do the create the world.
Let's start with David,
Yep.
and then we go to me, to you, and we end with David as well.
So here's the thing. This is what I usually do. I'm seeing this is a thing called departures. Okay.
Okay.
It was just randomly on the table, so I will randomly flip through it.
Okay.
Okay. There's a thing called finding the keys.
Finding the keys.
Novelist Michael Carroll explores the mythical appeal of Key West, Florida, where perfect silence mingles with subtract. Okay. Picture of a guy in front of a sea.
Okay. Picture of the guy on the pier.
Yeah, on the pier.
All right.
So
you start.
a guy decides that he wants to swim to Portugal from America.
To Portugal?
Yep.
You know how far it is?
There you go. That's the conflict of the movie. That's what his wife tells him. Exactly.
Okay.
You
So
know?
I write
So-
the next
Yeah.
part. Okay. So he decides that he wants to swim to Portugal. Okay.
And he's in Florida.
He's in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's say right before he's ready to swim, to depart, his wife tells him that she's pregnant.
What a setup here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck.
And he replies that for the survival of the future baby, he needs to go to the Portugal because time portal will close if he doesn't make it on time. And if he doesn't, the baby will not be born and they will be lost forever. So there is a critical urgency for him to swim. And he cannot take a boat either. He has to swim because the portal only opens for the ones who came by the water naked. Right?
You finish.
Naked. Okay. So the entirety of the movie, second act, is them trying to find a loophole to this. Okay. They try to find it. So the wife is like, okay, so how about you swim to Portugal, but we do a bunch of the thing on the boat, and you just swim the last 2 days. Okay, you could do 2 days, right? We could like she tried to meet him halfway somewhere, so he doesn't have to swim for a whole month, you know. And like, how are you gonna eat? How are you gonna eat? How are you gonna survive? You're gonna die by day number 3, and the shark is gonna kill you, you know. And eventually, she decides, you know what? Let's just have faith, you know. Let's believe what he. The story is about belief. You know?
Oh, okay.
You make it a story about belief, and it's kind of like Life of Pi, where do you really believe that he was on a boat with a tiger? Yes or no? You know?
God,
And-
I love the movie though.
Yeah. So essentially, she lets him go, you know, and he starts swimming, and as he swims, he starts burning up by the sun because he's getting like his back is towards the sun the whole day. Maybe he switches a bit. He starts doing like this.
Yeah.
Okay, and we follow him. Hans Zimmer does the music. It's getting there.
Yeah, and there are raccoons standing on the beach.
Exactly.
They're like, where
Raccoon
have
is
the
like
elements?
like it's goodbye like this,
Instead of a
like,
tiger. And it's like in Narnia when he almost gets to the Portugal with
Yeah.
the few stops.
Yeah.
There's like like in Narnia, Aslan, the
There you
lion,
go, waiting
opens
for him in Portugal.
Open the sky door. He'll be like, you made it. Now you're rewarded. You made it till the closing of the portal, and now you saved the world.
There you go.
And here's the wife, and he just drops the
Yeah,
back to Portugal transform.
Exactly. It's perfect. So there you go.
Perfect movie.
Magnificent.
Anybody wants to purchase
Robert Downey Jr.
the
Robert Downey
script?
Jr. You got this. You want to do this.
You got this.
Yeah, exactly. It's a movie about a guy swimming across the Atlantic. You can do this. You played Tony Stark. You're perfect for this. You're perfect.
And the raccoons will be there.
Exactly.
For
And
sure.
raccoons.
Yeah.
Raccoons. There you go. It's gonna happen.
All right, guys.
It was very
Raccoons
fun.
or not,
Yeah.
it was a great conversation.
Raccoons is a great way to end the show. I will say.
I think raccoons always steal the show. I
See,
think so.
Like if you make T-shirts with that, I'll buy one.
That's my favorite
Raccoons,
character.
Exclamation mark. Yeah.
Yep,
Perfect.
I always remember. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.
We had a blast.
Thank
it was
you.
so much fun to
was
to talk about the films and about the process of creation.
Cheers.
And you know, it's never ending kind of conversation. We can talk for hours and hours, like we said before, but
We can.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately. Okay.
But anyway, thank you so
very much.
much.
For having me. Cheers.
Thank you for coming. And it was Just Fake It podcast coming to LA. And we're brought to you by Envoice Media. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.